faces, feel it sinking in. Lonely faces, say you need a friend. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibitions, I'll show you I care. You've been lost and alone in the city. Getting high, feeling low, and it's out of your control. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the city lights, I know, but I will guide you home.
Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, or if you are new here, welcome. This year has been a major year for transformation for me, both inside and outside, and I am coming out of recovery now from my surgery, so I'm able to do so much more. I'm just feeling so significantly better. I've made a lot of life changes, and I feel like it has been quite a while since I have come on here and had a chat with you guys. So that is what I'm wanting to do today. I thought we could spend the day together. We'll make some meals for the family. I wanted to share some updates as far as like my health and everything. I also do have some cleaning to get to, so we'll get to all that today. First things first is I got a walking pad not too long ago. It is like crazy raining here lately, and I am a little afraid to be walking around in the summertime outside because there's so many snakes in our area. So I got this walking pad and I've been using it. I like to turn on the TV, watch other YouTubers or shows, and just kind of walk instead of sitting, and it has helped so much. I have been making a bunch of different adjustments, one to my diet, but also working out and stuff as I've been coming out of recovery and able to do a lot more. So I have been implementing a bunch of different things. One thing I don't think I will ever be able to give up though is my morning coffee. This looks different from day to day, but usually I will do 2 shots of espresso. I do 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, and then I will either do a protein drink or milk over ice. And it's something I look forward to every morning. This morning, my younger 2 boys had been staying at a family member's house, and my older 2 were still sleeping. So I wanted to take advantage of that nice and peace and quiet and get the house kind of cleaned up and put back together. From the weekend, we had had a cookout, family members over, we had a bunch of guests, swimming and stuff like that. So I wanted to get things put together. It wasn't crazy terrible, but it needed done. We also had a cousin bring over old family pictures. This was me. I think I was about 3 in this picture, maybe a little older, like 4. And then this one, I was in lower elementary. I'm not really sure. They weren't marked, but probably like 1st or 2nd grade. But there was so many pictures of just all kinds of family members. It wasn't just mine that brought over, and it was super cool to look through all of those. I love looking through older pictures. So anyway, she had brought those and I figured I would share. I'm curious if others do this frequently too. So I always clean before I have people over, but then I also feel like the house needs cleaned again after people leave. Am I the only one that does that? I don't think I am. I think that's a pretty normal thing, but I just feel like, people, they spill things or they drop food or, they're tracking in things from outside on their shoes. Like I said, people had been in the pool, so there was kind of like tracks from that coming in. It was just, we had towels that need to be thrown into the wash, just all kinds of things that I feel like come with having guests over. And so that's kind of what I needed to get to today. It wasn't necessarily like the everyday stuff. Speaking of everyday stuff, so if you've been here a while, you'll know that I have been recovering from my surgery and I haven't really been able to do as much until very recently. So I just got the all clear from my doctor. I'm good to go and, go about my normal life. So that is awesome. And I've been kind of very impatient about it and looking forward to it very much so. So anyway, now that I am, green lights to go, I feel like I'm noticing everything around the house to where it just kind of fell behind from me not being able to do stuff and kind of having to depend on my husband and my kids for a while there. So I am itching to really do like a major deep clean. I've started decluttering and I did it off camera mostly because it was like very sporadic and I'm just like, in that moment, I'm like, I just need to get this done. I don't want to film it. I just want to get it done and get it out of the way so I'm not thinking of it anymore. So I actually recently did my closet and I feel so much better. Oh my gosh. The weight of things that you just kind of like hang on to, I feel like you don't realize the weight that they kind of just have on your shoulders until you just let them go. And I feel so much lighter since going through my closet and getting rid of, I think we dropped off like 6 bags of donation just from my side of the closet. It was insane how much I was hanging on to, and I just feel so tremendously better. And then now that I feel that way, I'm like, I just want to keep going. So that is definitely in our near future. I'm going to continue to declutter. And like I said, I feel like things have just kind of fallen behind a little bit. And so, my kids and my husband, they did such a wonderful job, keeping up with like the day-to-day stuff. But if sometimes a mother's touch is just needed. And I think we're at that point for a lot of the house. So I kind of need to go through here soon and do a deeper clean and just kind of go room to room, do a lot of high dusting, like our ceiling fans, they need done, stuff like that, windows, walls, and just do a much deeper clean. I've been on the lookout for several months now to replace this like little table right here. I really want something larger and either with drawers or like a little cabinet in it to kind of just, put coffee table stuff and things like that in. Nothing really major, but I just feel like this table is not that big, and because it's so little right in this area, for one, it doesn't really hold a lot, and two, I feel like my kids constantly try to walk in between the table and couch, and it drives me crazy because that table, the top is actually made out of real stone. And so it is very heavy, and if it were to fall on any of them, it would hurt, if not break bones. So that's always a concern for me, and I feel like it needs, something larger in that space anyway. So I have been on the lookout there. If you notice, I added a couple new lamps to the room, just trying to make it more homey feeling. I hate the big lights. I just cannot stand the big lights, and we have such high ceilings that I feel like we kind of need the larger lights, especially in our living room. So anyway, I've been getting a bunch of different lamps and putting them throughout the room, trying to avoid putting on the big lights. This windowsill gets so incredibly dirty. I think because it's like in the front there. So we have plants that, as you can see, they kind of will drop things, and that needs picked up. But then also, like, we have cats that like to sit in this windowsill and watch the bird feeders, so they're constantly in here. And then Ted, because this is like the front window, he will not get on the windowsill, but he'll like put his paws, like his two front paws, up there and like look out the window if there's deer or there's birds or a squirrel or people or whatever there may be. So I feel like this windowsill in particular is constantly dirty, and it always needs wiped down. So gonna get to that, get it all nice, wiped down, dusted, and put back together. And I'm sure it will take no time at all before it needs dusted again. But speaking of plants, how are your guys' gardens doing? Have you put things outside? So I know a lot of people, like in different gardening zones, is that what they're called? They will usually wait until after Mother's Day. So I'm really curious. How is your guys' gardens going outside? I have put my stuff outside. I did a lot of stuff from seeds this year. I started a lot of things like inside because that was just easier for me to do since I was freshly out of surgery. And then my kids, they helped. My younger boys, they love planting things. They love gardening. So they helped me a lot with planting seeds, stuff like that. And then we just moved them to the front porch because it was easy enough for me to like kind of monitor things and go outside and water them on a regular basis. And then once they got to a large enough size, then we moved them to the garden. And again, my kids kind of helped me plant all that. We did get a couple of different plants from like farmers markets and stuff like that, when it was pretty random too. Like we went and were looking for climbing roses this year. And so while we were there, we ended up coming across like pepper plants or tomato plants that were on sale and just like too good of a deal to pass up. I think we got a bunch of pepper plants, like bell pepper and jalapeno, for $1.10 or something. And it was like for 3 or 4 plants. So, and not each, like that was total. So that was too good of a deal to even pass up. So we got some of those. And that's kind of what I'm focusing on in the garden this year, is just things that we regularly use. We know that we can grow really well and stay on top of. And so we always do cucumbers, and different kinds of peppers. We have a larger variety of peppers this year because I was also gifted some. And then tomatoes. I love making salsa and different like tomato sauces and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to doing that again this year. We have a bunch of that kind of stuff. And then I am starting potatoes this year, which I feel like kind of sounds silly because I think potatoes are like one of the easiest things to grow, but I've never tried them before, and I'm super excited because they are doing so well this year. Anyway, I will definitely have to do like a garden tour. I did that some last year, and I'm really excited about my garden this year, so I will definitely have to go out there and share with you how it's progressing this year. Now, I know months ago I implemented a new laundry system, and I just have to share how it's going. It has been life-changing. If you struggle with laundry like I do, that is something that I have never in my entire life been able to stay on top of. And I've tried different methods. However, this one works out so good for me, especially for our family of 6. So what I'm doing is I am doing mine and my husband's laundry and then like the house laundry, if that makes sense. So the method that I implemented a couple months ago was I got every child their own laundry basket, and they each also have their own laundry day. So they know exactly what day is their laundry day. And like my younger 2, I do still have to help them. They can't like reach everything. So I will, start the wash, and then they will load it up. I usually switch it for my younger two because they can't reach into the dryer, and then they take it out and they put all their stuff away. They fold it, they put it where it belongs. Sometimes I think at first I had to just kind of double check to make sure everything was good, but I feel like one, it's wonderful for them to learn that, and two, it significantly helps me out. So, and then my older two, they know their day. They go ahead and do their laundry from start to finish. They need no help, basically. So it's been wonderful. It's just mine and my husband's. We share a hamper, and then that hamper is also the one that like towels go in. I also will do like sheets and blankets, and I kind of rotate that throughout the week. So we constantly have a rotation going of laundry, but I'm not the one that always has to do it, if that makes sense. And honestly, it's so minimal now that I don't even have to think about it. Like every couple of days, maybe I have to put some stuff away, like towels and stuff, but it is incredible how life-changing it has been. And I feel like that sounds so dramatic to even say, because, you know, how can laundry change your life? But really, I swear, it has been so great. And I'm a person that I absolutely hate laundry. I have complained about it from like the very beginning of being on this channel. So, and if you've been here for a while, you totally know that. You've heard me complain about it. So this way of doing things has really, really changed for my family of 6. I mean, if you have 1 or 2 kids, maybe it's not that dramatic as mine, but for me, it has really changed things. Now, I just did a quick vacuum all over the house. I had done mopping, like spin mopping the entire lower level of the house, or the entire main level. I guess it's not the lower one, but I had done that before everybody came. And so I really felt like I just needed spot mopping, like throughout the living room and bathrooms and stuff. And it didn't need a whole like deep mopping, if you know what I mean. So I vacuumed everywhere, and then I just kind of spot mopped. The kitchen, I will do the spray mop. Again, I felt like, you know, yes, food kind of fell and stuff different places, but like the whole kitchen didn't need mopped because I had just mopped it. So you'll see I will get to like spray mopping. I'm just going to wipe everything down because we had a bunch of food and everything was pretty much put away the night before, but nothing was really like wiped down. That's one thing. My kids, my older two, they generally will be the ones to help put away leftovers and help with dishes and stuff in the kitchen. My husband, he also usually, like, especially if I'm the one cooking, he often will help clean up or do most of that. That's kind of always how we've been. Like if he's cooking, which is very rare, then I'm usually the one to pick up. And, you know, so if I cook, he'll end up picking up. But one thing that I feel like they always seem to forget is wiping things down. I know that after things were wiped down, after like people left and stuff, my daughter, she was making something on the stove and it ended up like overflowing and then it burned on the stove. So I think I'm gonna actually have to go in there with like a razor and get it off. But regardless, anyway, I felt like I had to go in here and kind of do a bigger wipe down of everything because things were just kind of missed. Do you ever feel like you're just constantly in the kitchen? I don't know if everybody feels like this or if it's just like people with, you know, multiple children. Or maybe also it has something to do like if you're primarily out of the home, like if you're working out of the home and not working at home or homeschooling or, you know, you're not around the house all the time. But I feel like I'm constantly cleaning the kitchen just to like almost immediately turn around and like dirty it again because I'm constantly like in here making meals. So that is what I'm doing. I'm wiping everything down and doing the dishes. My kids are still not awake and they're the ones that like unload the dishwasher and stuff. So I'm just doing a couple of the dishes from the morning and putting them on the drying mat because there's still dishes in the dishwasher. But yeah, I'm going to do all this and then turn right around and make myself lunch. So it's kind of, I don't know. And then I'll feel like I'll have to clean it again. But it felt really good to get in here and get it all back and put away. It feels so good. It's such a good feeling, even though it only lasts for like 2 seconds. We are going to wrap up things in the kitchen. And then I wanted to share with you some of my health updates and things that I have been doing to lose weight and inches here recently.
Was it the voice? Was it the fire burning in me? All of the noise turned into choirs of harmony. Left me with the pieces.
I am just about finished cleaning up the house, or doing as much as I'm going to get to today at least. And then I'm about to go and pick up my boys here soon. But before I do that, I want to make lunch really quick. If you've been here for a while, you will know that I have been on a health journey all year. It's kind of started with a very eventful end to my year last year, and things have just kind of progressed. And since surgery and just everything going on, I feel like this year has been kind of crazy and life-changing, definitely, but for the better. So one thing I have been doing, though, I have been working on eating healthier, and I'm starting to see results from that, so I'm pretty excited about that. But one thing I've been doing to kind of stay on track is pretty much just finding a couple of meals that work for me, things that I don't mind eating on a regular basis, things that are a lot healthier, and sticking to those. That way I don't really have to think about it. I make my family, meals that they're used to eating. Sometimes I'll switch things up, make things a little healthier. It's just kind of been a whole journey for me figuring everything out. But one thing that has really worked for me is finding a couple of meals and making those for myself and really just sticking to it. It helps me stick to it. And like I said, I don't have to have a whole thought process behind it. It's not something that I have to go out and buy a bunch of ingredients for. I keep it very simple, delicious, and it's something that's really working for me. So before I leave to pick up the boys, I'm going to make a quick lunch. It is raining. I don't think it's gonna let up anytime today. So I really have no other choice. I'm going to start the grill and just kind of deal with the rain. But anyway, I figured I would share with you what I'm going to have, and then we're gonna go and actually, before I go and pick up the boys, I want to finish the kitchen floor. We had guests over yesterday, and I did clean it before, but I feel like, after guests, you just kind of need to do it again. So that is what I'm going to get to before I get them. And then because I have to kind of travel to get them, it's going to be probably all afternoon, but I'll come back and I'll share with you what I make for dinner tonight. So anyway, let me show you really quickly what I am doing for my really simple lunch. Okay, so most days what I do is I either will have grilled chicken or shrimp, just kind of cooked shrimp, but out of the bag. I don't really do anything with it. It's just very easy. They have a lot of protein. They hold me over for hours. So I like doing these because it's something that I can do repeatedly and really not get sick of. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to throw this chicken on the grill. This is boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and I cut them in half to make them thinner. And then I'm going to sprinkle them with, can you see it? This Kinder's Cowboy Butter. This is something that is so good. I found this from another YouTube channel, and I've really, really enjoyed this. So I keep buying this, and I just sprinkle it pretty heavily on one side, and then I'll go and put them on the grill. And usually I'll have this with either fruit or vegetables or a salad or, something, whatever I'm feeling that day is usually what I'll have as the side. And then again, with the shrimp, I keep it very simple. I'll have some vegetables, maybe some rice. I just keep it very, very simple, and it's something that I have not gotten sick of. It's something that works for me. So I'm gonna season this and then go throw it on the grill. So if you are new here, just kind of a little brief history. I also do have videos where I talk about things a little bit more in depth, so you could go back and see those. But I had a very traumatic event on Christmas Day of this past year, and since then I have pretty much been on a health journey. I had a hysterectomy about 2 months ago. During my hysterectomy, they found adenomyosis, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, by the way, but they did find that. And then I also had stage 4 endometriosis. So they cleared out as much as they could. I still do have a percentage of lesions and stuff that were left that they could not get to. So we're kind of just trying to manage my symptoms and everything with that. I do feel significantly better since then, but I knew there was something wrong with me for years and years. And it kind of just kind of all came to a head, and we figured it all out, or at least for the most part. And so since then, it made it very difficult for me to lose any weight, even when I was pretty much starving myself. And so now we're trying different hormones and different things to try to better things. And I'm trying to figure out how my body is, working with this. So it's just pretty much been a very trial period, if for lack of better words, this whole year, and just trying to figure things out and get me healthier. And so that is what I'm doing. And since surgery, my metabolism, my doctor thinks that it will, slowly get better. And so I have been trying to eat so cleanly. And I have pretty much, like I said, I make meals for my family that they're pretty much used to, things that I can record and share with you guys, new recipes, stuff like that. And I will do substitutions for things to make it a little bit healthier for them. But for the most part, I am sticking with things that I know are really healthy. I'm really focusing on protein and fiber, and just really sticking. I'm doing a calorie deficit as well. So I have been, I think tomorrow will be 1 month, 4 weeks that I have been doing this diet. And it has been 2 weeks where it is very, very strict dieting. So like I said, it's been 2 weeks where I'm on a major calorie deficit. And before that I was eating healthier, but I wasn't recording what I was eating in my calories and counting and focusing on protein and stuff like that. I've been heavily doing that the last 2 weeks. And because of that, I have been feeling so much better. I still feel fatigued, and I think that has to do with the endometriosis, but that has even significantly improved. And I have lost 2 to 4 inches in all of my measurements, my chest, waist, hips, and legs. And then also I am down almost 10 pounds this month. So I know that it is very repetitive, the meals that I'm eating, but I know that they're working for me and they're making me feel so much better, so much healthier. And I am pretty excited that I have started finally for the first time in such a long time. I mean, it feels just like years. I'm finally seeing some results, and it feels really great. I know that so many of you have been here from the very beginning, and I appreciate you so much. You have been there through before my diagnosis, before when I was at a very, very low point, and just kind of looking for guidance and support. And you were there for my diagnosis, and now we're after that, and it just feels so good. And I'm so appreciative of everybody that has been there for me, and I will continue to give updates as they come. It's been incredible sharing my story and realizing how many people are in similar situations and struggle with the same things. And so I'm just so grateful for the community that I have here. And just know that if you are hearing this and you felt alone with all this, just know there are a lot of people that are feeling that same way. You are not alone. I felt like I was kind of alone. And when I started sharing my feelings, I found out there was so many women that are experiencing very similar things. I wish that there was more studying. Maybe there is these days, but it just feels like we are so behind on studies for women's health. And I just hope that in the future there will be better studying and stuff done for women's health. I recently came across an article that said that endometriosis is significantly higher if you have a mother or a sister, maybe an aunt, a grandmother, something like that, where they're a very immediate family. It's significantly more likely for you to have it. It's kind of hereditary in a way, but then also, there hasn't been enough studying. So I hope that for, my daughter's sake and your daughter's sake, that a lot more is done here in the future years for women's health. But anyway, moving past that very heavy moment, we're going to get started on dinner. Now, I'm making a new recipe to me, kind of. I have never done it with ground beef, so that is what I'm doing. But this is Mississippi sloppy joes. So if you've made like Mississippi pot roast, or I think my mother-in-law calls it like Italian beef or something. So I've made that a bunch of times. My family, they really enjoy that. However, I saw this take on it and thought it would be really easy. And I already had on my list to make this month sloppy joes. So I thought, you know what, let's just incorporate the two of them together and we will make Mississippi sloppy joes. So that is what I'm making. I have a large pot going on the stove. I'm also going to be making mac and cheese, and I will steam some green beans, I think it is. But I will have this recipe listed down below. So if you are a fan of the Mississippi pot roast, this is a really good recipe. It's super easy. It comes together really quick, and it has like all of the same ingredients. I think it just requires like less. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you do like the entire pack of the au jus gravy and maybe the whole pack of ranch, or like half a pack or something in the like crock pot or the pot roast recipe. Here you only use a portion. It's only like a tablespoon or so of each. So you don't use as much, and you can definitely put those aside for another time to make it. And like I said, you just use ground beef and use all the rest of the ingredients, just a portion of them to make this. And this worked out really well. This fed my family of 6. So I did not have this. I just had grilled chicken, but there was leftovers. So this would have fed, everybody in the family of 6, and I don't think there would have been leftovers if I would have had some. So if you're wanting more, you're wanting leftovers, you might want to double the recipe.
Crowded places, feel it sinking in. Lonely faces, say you need a friend. No matter the distance, I will.
Here's how dinner turned out, and that is actually all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and thank you so much for being my support during these bigger moments in my life. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
It's out of your control. You should know that I want